when a drunken, overconfident tourist, certain his fat wallet entitled him to do as he pleased, hurled a bun at the royal guard without a second thought. Nobody believed this soldier would break his ironclad protocol. Yet his next move not only stunned the brazen tourist, but the entire astounded crowd, sparking a series of events that turned everything upside down. What happened next, and why couldn't the whole country tear its eyes away from this story? Then he appeared, our future hero of trouble, a drunk and remarkably overweight tourist. He could barely stay on his feet, swaying as though he might collapse onto the pavement at any moment. Struggling to form words, this hulking figure began shouting something incoherent at the top of his lungs. "Hey you, statue in the red outfit. Why so serious? You gonna tell me to bring you a burger?" The drunken tourist tried to sound tough, but only came off as ridiculous and comical. The crowd fell silent, watching the guardsman remain unshakable, despite the blatant nonsense spilling from this overconfident guest. Little did anyone know that the most brazen act was yet to come. The moment came when the overweight tourist realized that his clownish taunts were no longer getting the reaction he wanted. He needed an even more outrageous stunt to become a social media star. Fishing around in his pocket, or more like rummaging through a hidden stash in his backpack, he pulled out an enormous, freshly baked bun. Judging by its size, it could have served as breakfast for an entire family. But no, our hero had saved it for a far less noble purpose. In a single drunken impulse, he hurled the bun straight at the guardsman's chest. The crowd gasped. People began whispering among themselves. Some recorded the scene on their phones, while others looked on in horror, unable to believe someone would so blatantly disrespect a symbol of British history. "This is disgraceful! How is something like this even possible?" Outraged voices rang out. From the attached online comments, it was already clear that many people had expressed their anger over such antics by tourists. "I'd kick him out of the country. They come to see our traditions but act like complete jerks." Yet our guardsman James, in spite of the situation's absurdity, commanded respect with his iron self-control. He continued to stand there as though oblivious to the shocking insult, though inside he could feel his blood boiling. His hand instinctively tensed around the stock of his rifle, but he fought to keep his composure. The drunken oaf decided that even this wasn't enough. He squirmed, sneered, blew his nose loudly, and shouted, "Come on, give us a smile, Mr. Guard. You're supposed to be entertaining us tourists." The tension in the already charged atmosphere soared higher. The crowd seemed hesitant. Some kept filming, others yelled their objections, but nobody dared intervene. The tourist was just too big and aggressive, and the guardsman was bound by protocol not to respond to provocation. But every limit has its breaking point. Events took an even more outrageous turn when the brazen tourist stepped right up to the guardsman and did something truly out of line. He grabbed the lapel of the guardsman's tunic, trying to pull him closer. This was the final straw. According to that same protocol, physical contact with a guardsman is strictly forbidden. Suddenly, the guardsman's expression changed in front of everyone's eyes. His gaze blazed with resolve, and in a swift, unexpected move, he abandoned his measured ceremonial stance. With a firm yank, he knocked the tourist's hand aside, turned fully toward him, and spoke clearly, almost through clenched teeth. "Stand back immediately, sir!" The crowd literally froze. After all, a royal guardsman had spoken, and moved, from his post. Seconds later, the comments flooding online live streams were full of shock and admiration. "Unbelievable! I thought they never left their post. He's a real hero. Someone let him know we support him." As for the tourist, he was clearly thrown off balance. He hadn't expected the statue to suddenly spring to life. But alcohol and foolish bravado overruled any sense he had left. He tried to shout something back, but his tongue was too thick to form words. Seeing the guardsman's resolve, the crowd began to judge the troublemaker harshly. Snatches of conversation drifted. "Have you lost your mind, man? Think about where you are. They need to throw him out of here. He's embarrassing us all." A breeze lightly ruffled the guardsman's bearskin hat, highlighting the symbolism of the moment. Centuries-tested traditions contrasted with someone who thinks everything is allowed. With heavy footfalls, palace security guards arrived. One of the onlookers, outraged by the scene, had summoned help. They firmly took the drunken tourist by the arms to escort him away from royal grounds. A hint of relief flickered in the guardsman's eyes, but he swiftly resumed his calm, unyielding stance. Only a slight upturn at the corner of his mouth betrayed his private sense of victory. The crowd began to applaud. People who had stood in stunned silence moments before now voiced their support for the hero in the bright red tunic. "Nicely done. A true professional. Keep it up. That's exactly how you put arrogant people in their place." Social media quickly heated up with debates. As people shared and discussed the videos online, the comments poured in. "This is a prime example. We have to respect tradition, not treat it like a circus." "We admire the guardsman's resilience. Despite all the provocation, he stayed true to his duty." "Wouldn't it be great if everyone realized these soldiers are living symbols of history, not props for silly jokes?" In the end, the drunken, overweight tourist was led away in disgrace, losing the last shreds of his dubious celebrity status. Videos of the incident went viral, serving as a warning to any future brave souls tempted to test the Royal Guard's patience. As for Guardsman James Harrington, he adjusted his hat, returned to his starting position, and carried on his duties with pride. The hope that such incidents might teach people to respect culture and history still lived on, and on that day, it was stronger than ever before.